The place where you're entitled to Brad's opinion. And now for your host, Brad Allard.
Hello. I'll be drinking tea through this one. Cold and flu season's here. I don't know if it's cold.
You got to raise your pinky when you drink, sir.
I'm not a Democrat. Thank you. Anyway, uh-oh. Yeah, you like that little political humor on this cold day. If you notice, I'm not in my usual festive flowery shirts. It's because my beloved bride likes it to keep it cool in this house because it's better that way. I thank her once a month, though, on utility bills. I'll give thanks for that. And that's what the name of this show is, giving thanks. We're going to talk about the things we are grateful for. Right now, I'm grateful that she made me this tea with honey in it. Anyway, I have some responses here we're going to go over, but some of the things that have been done. Some of the people who have sent what they're thankful for, and we have a lot to be thankful for. I know we've gone through a really tough time in this country, and it's pretty apparent that it's left a lot of people pretty bruised and all. But my goodness, we still have a lot to be thankful for, and we're going to focus on that instead of dwelling on the political hair pulling and other routine business. I also recorded a show earlier today about the election, so tomorrow it'll be up and on Facebook, etc. It's that way Taylor and I can both take care of our holiday business. What are you going to be doing for Thanksgiving, bud?
We're taking the private jet out to Burleson.
That's why you live near the plane. So you could take the private jet. You'll make that 30-second flight and
back to Burleson.
Okay,
going to
good.
My parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, so am I.
Right down the street.
We have a pretty routine set. When we go down to Corsicana, where my parents live, we're going to my sister's house actually, who also is in Corsicana, and it's like, okay, it's halftime at the Lions game, time to eat, and so if you miss part of the second half, we're okay. But then the Cowboys come on, okay. My sister and her husband are pretty serious Cowboy fans. My dad.
Are they going to win or lose? You gotta guess it right now.
I think
will
the
Cowboys win or lose?
They play like they did yesterday against Minnesota. They'll beat the brains out of the Giants. That was the best Cowboys game I've seen them play in a long time. I mean, they just beat their brains out. And so, but also World Cup started today. United States comes on today on Monday at 1:00. Are you a big World Cup guy?
I cannot say that I am, but I will probably watch part of it so I can talk about it.
Well, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I don't really follow like the English Premier Leagues and all that business. But I like the World Cup because it's country versus country. It's a lot of emotion involved. So I'd make time to see it when I can. Now it's going to be tough to see it because like this weekend, all these World Cup games going on. So is football, and I'm not that far off to the left. I'm going to be watching football with other parts of my family and that kind of thing. But anyway, let's talk about the sponsors because they're going to have a busy Thanksgiving and Christmas season. I hope that's what they're advertising here for. I hope CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. Hope you're doing well, Daniel. I'm sure you and the kids will have a very busy time with the holidays with all these kids. They have 3 and they're wonderful young children. They really are. But CrossFit Burleson, 317 Southwest Wilshire. It's going to be cold and chilly for a while. Probably till March, so you don't want to get all flabby and you don't want to look like me. You don't want to get a dad bod before you're a dad. So go to CrossFit Burleson. They got the regimens, they got the training, they got the supervision, they got the whole thing. So check them out. Also, thank you to Shandy Stogsdill. I'm sure she'll be very busy. Check out our 817 Life page. She's been really doing a lot of stuff with the monthly supper club just to bring people together, strangers. It's not like just a party with friends. It's anybody who wants to come. And that's a member of the 817 Life page. So check that out, become a member. But also, real estate is what she's known for. She's been known for that for a long time. So if you want to move in and around this area, get after it. You need to talk to her. Yes, rates are rising. Yes, the home values are changing. So you need to talk to somebody that knows what's going on and not just read it in the paper and hope for the best. So Shandy Stogsdill, turning transactions into relationships. Thank you to Otto at our place. Busy time. My goodness. If you're going to get a pie for Thanksgiving and you want one from Otto's, you need to order it today. All right. Soonest. Because if you walk in Wednesday afternoon at 2:30 and said, I need a pie, it's going to be probably a very slim pickings because they have a lot of demand for their pies. And if you have other demands you want to make, you don't really care for turkey, you want some of his chicken fried steak, whip that up too. Take it home, heat it up the next day. I'd rather have that, frankly, than turkey. Are you a turkey fan, Taylor?
I do like it, but It gets old real quick.
I eat it once a year this Thursday. I'm not a big turkey fan at all. And so mom will make a ham for me, which I'll eat twice a year now on Christmas maybe or Easter. Also, thank you to Chris over at Wild Cigar. He's having a Black Friday special of his own. He says, less shopping and more noggin, as in eggnog. Get it? Okay. So after you braved all the shopping deals, go over to Chris's over at Wilds. The second half of the game will be on, at least on Thursday. He'll be open Thursday. I'm getting these confused. But let me go back to the Black Friday. Sorry, Chris, I butchered up your promo. Let's try it again. Friday, they'll be open for all day Black Friday sales, drink specials, special Christmas music and cocktails. A lot of football will be on, including my beloved Bears, who broke my heart this weekend. But there you go.
What a game!
What a game! You want your money or not, huh? All right. Anyway, also Thursday they'll be open at 5. So if you had your fill of family and you want to watch the rest of the Cowboy game in peace, that'll be a good place to do it. You'll have a decent smoke, a decent drink, watch the game, and get out of the house for a while. And so Wild Cigar and Culture. Also, thank you to Tiffany Nico at Local Life Magazine. That's going to be out next week, and she'll be on sometime in December, I'm sure. We always have to kind of fit around her schedule because she really is busy because she's got several irons in the fire. She also does social media and things of that nature. So Local Life Magazine. If you want to see what's going on currently, localiftx.com, check out her page, and you'll see what's going on for Christmas sales, Black Friday sales in the local area. Also, thank you to Southern Gem. Fine Jewelry and Gemstones. Gala is going to be, particularly in December, is going to be working a lot of hours. Also, she'll be on the show next Monday on the 21st. She's going to, no, this is the 21st. I'm sorry, the 28th. On the 28th, she's going to come in and we're going to talk about just about her store in general, but also about jewelry and diamonds and the markets and what to look for in her store and what she can provide for you. So Southern Gem and Gala will be on next Monday. Also, thank you to Michelle over at Hotworks. Michelle's asked my sponsors if they had any special messages, and she's basically, I'm going to just read what she said. She had just a reminder to be grateful for what you can do, and consistency takes you to what you want to do. Food isn't an enemy. Enjoy the meal and dessert, and then get back to health, wholesome intake, and activity. So good. She says, don't worry about that piece of pie. Just don't let it sit there. All right. Go to Hotworks and take advantage of one of the 11 different infrared systems. And so you can enjoy yourself guilt-free. Okay. Also, thank you to Melissa at Texas Farm Bureau, 682-804-0534. She's my insurance agent. She could be your insurance agent. And you need an agent, really, because if you're doing this all online or on the phone, that's great. But you need somebody that's going to be an advocate for you, not just somebody who picked up the phone. And she's my advocate. She checked out my insurance. She found me a better deal with her, and I'm saving money and have increased my life insurance. So there you are. Also, it is the Christmas season. Lots of things going on. Christmas ornament fundraiser for Reinspire. They have partnered with Viral Growth Marketing and Design, whom I am know of. I mean, I don't know, friends maybe a bit much, but I know who they are. They are producing ornaments, and you can get them at Bennett's in downtown Cleveland or at Accents Burleson over by the tracks in Old Town. That gift shop there used to be the old feed store, and I've been in there at Christmas time a couple times. It's a Christmas feeling place, so go over there and check it out. Also, thank you. We have a big thank you to Colonel Manson and Mike Perdue, the Marines that are putting together Toys for Tots at Chisenhall Fields. It's coming up next Wednesday, November 30th, 6 to 11:30 p.m. Drive by, drop off a toys. Take time and stop by. They're going to have performances from BISD performing groups, bands, choirs, things of that nature. Also, the athletes will be helping load and unload. I talked to Ken Ozy last Thursday. Great show, by the way. And we were talking about this, about how they want to do more and more of community service like this. I want to reiterate that Kevin Ozy show. It was really, really good. It talked about some of the things that are going on in the community that you could be really, really happy about. Also, who doesn't need free braces? I can tell you, I wish this deal was going on a while back. Braces of Burleson's giving away a free set of braces over in December 1st, over at 809 Southwest Allsbury from 3:30 to 6:30. They're going to be having door prizes, giveaways, vendors, face painting, a photo booth, all this stuff. All you need to do is bring a donation to the Center for ASD. Okay, the Center for ASD is one of the best nonprofits in town, and so it deals with autistic children and adults, a complete age range. So bring a donation for them, and potentially win some free braces. Okay. Today's show is what we are thankful for, and we're thankful for a lot here. We really are. We have much to be grateful for. I know that the time has been tough with all the political hair pulling, and it seems like we have these tragic things like happen in Colorado, and then other things that happen that just break your heart. But we have a lot to be thankful for if you look at it more objectively. And I asked some of my listeners to respond to a post, and I have several that I'm going to go to. But I want to talk about a couple of things I personally am thankful for. I'm thankful for my sponsors. Now, I know that sounds like a bit self-serving and maybe whatever, trying to keep nice. That's not really the case. I am proud of my sponsors because they're not just good people, but they're good citizens. They're good community people. They donate to this community. During the election, we had Chris and Otto donate gift cards to help reward those who do their civic duty, I guess. A lot of these people like Shandy and Daniel do things that I don't even know about until later. Michelle does civic things. A fundraiser for cancer. Melissa, Gayla, Tiffany, on and on and on. They do so many things for local people, many of which are not in some sort of formal program. They just do it out of their own generosity. And so it makes me proud that these kind of people would sponsor my kind of show. And so thank you to the sponsors for all they do. The nonprofits, one of the greatest privileges I've had since I've been on this program, and it's going on, well, I'm into my 4th year now, is that I got acquainted with a lot of the nonprofits in this community, or more acquainted, if you will. And they've been routine supporters of this show. They've been on the show quite often. They trust me to help promote their items and their fundraisers and their events, and they're regular members of the neighborhood, and I'm just very appreciative of them because I've gotten to know just how hard and how much they care, just how much hard they work and how much they care. Harvest House, Reinspire, Next Step, the Center for Autism, ASD, plus all the others that you could think of throughout this community. Fitability TX with Jessica and how she helps those people with needs. The Crazy 8 Ministries, Reach Council, sorry, I said it wrong. Reach Council, Johnson County. They're on and on and on. Plus the local churches, Promises, Community. Plus, and then you have churches that do things alone. The Pathways Church, First Baptist, the Methodist Church, and the Church of Christ. All these churches. I know I'm Open Door. There's another one. I'm leaving people out, I'm sure, but there's a lot of these churches that are doing so much for this community. It's amazing. Not every community has this kind of support. Not every community has these kind of people. We like to think sometimes that, man, there's some real hair pulling and some antagonism going on in this community. It ain't nothing like what I've been reading about in many other communities. Most of the people in this community pull for the community. Most of the people are there for the community. Yeah, we got a few people off to the fringe that want to mumble and grumble. That's their problem. We have many, many, many people and organizations that do things either through these organizations or on their own. Like, for example, I was asking what thankful for. Sherry Scott said she's thankful for community and the opportunity to serve others. Well, you certainly epitomize that, Sherry, with the blessing boxes. Those blessing boxes are the very definition of Christ's work in a community. If you're not familiar with blessing boxes, there are 5 of them. I know one of them's near me over by the Renfro One Stop across from the oil change and the car wash and all that. You know where it is. It used to be Bennett's. And there's another one over at the library in Centennial Park. There's one in the church in Allsbury. There's one in the church, Living Water Church here in Burleson. And people just go by and donate to put food in there for people to just, if they're in a need in a hurry and they don't have access to one of these other services, they could go pick up a meal or some baby formula if they have it. It's And now that it's cooler weather, there's more options you can put in those boxes. So thank you, Sherry, for what you do. That's a true blessing to our community. Alex Phillips would ask me to talk about how he's very, very thankful for all the small businesses here in Burleson, and so am I. The small businesses are what make a small town work. It's not just we're keeping the money local, which we are. It's not just we're keeping people employed in our community, which we are. It's a way of building relationships and communities. So Alex would say, thank you for each and every small business that calls Burleson home. They are the inspiration and heartbeat of our community. And he asked you very nicely with those Alex Phillips eyes. Ooh, that's kind of gross. Anyway, Alex Phillips asked you to shop local, which we do as much as possible. I personally, this is my personal preference. I prefer to shop the old school way, where you go into the place and look at the items. Why? Because I'm 60 years old and I'm not really into making Jeff Bezos richer than he is. As far as going into big box stores, I'm guilty. But if there are things that I could buy locally, I buy locally. Even if you go to big box stores, at least do it locally. Because those are Burleson friends and neighbors that are working in them. So, uh, um, I'm really, really encouraged by Gabrina Daniels and what she does with the Chamber of Commerce and the Old Town Burleson community that Camille Bransom helps run. They really encourage local business and local outreach. And so I'm glad I'm in a community that has such a dedication to the small business owner, the restaurants and the stores and the services and the medical professionals that we support. I'm very, very glad for that. And of course, we had to have a couple of wise guys. Here's a wise guy, Sarah Krogman up in Kansas. Former Sarah McBride says, I'm grateful for the Senate. That's very funny. Uh, I did that political show already, but I'm grateful for people like Sarah Krogman. Actually, I mean, we don't agree much politically, but she's a very sweet woman, and it shows that one need not take to political hostilities to that degree. Many of my close friends are Democrats, and we have very wonderful and frank conversations. Many of y'all remember Grant Wittenberg. Many of y'all remember Barbara Tatum, Kim Little, who also says she's thankful for her family and friends, for God's faithfulness and grace. She and I corresponded about my last show, and she gave me feedback. And it didn't mean they said, "Oh, you're wonderful, you're great." They told me, "No, we disagree with what you said at this piece." But they didn't do it in such a way that I couldn't possibly take offense. They did it with love and concern and tact, and they showed that I'm grateful that I still have friends like them that are not so much on my political end of the spectrum, but on the other side, the Democrat side, so to speak. And we could still have these kind of conversations and relationships. I had a wonderful time visiting with Barbara Tatum last week, and she gave me really well thought out critique of my show on the elections from 2 weeks ago. And uh, I learned from it. It did modify my opinions on a couple things. Again, I'll save that. I saved that for the show that's been taped. I don't really not into that, but I'm just thankful. But I live in a country and a community, and that I can have these kind of conversations, despite what you see on Fox, MSNBC. Most Americans are capable of having friendships with people that aren't the same party of theirs. Most Americans can be civil, if nothing else, but they'd be friendly. They could be tight. Thanksgiving, you're going to run into family that doesn't have the same opinion, but they're still family. I'm grateful for a country that I could be friends and have the kind of expression that I'm having right now with you, or whenever you hear this podcast, and it could still do it in an open society. Now, we all worry about the future. We worry about what's going to happen to our rights and all this other stuff. Again, for another show, but I am still grateful that I can come before this mic or to the studio and be supported by the community, and also be able to express my opinions about things and be told by people that care about me. I'm not so sure I agree with you on that point, Mr. Allard. And I look forward to it because it makes me better. Makes me think about what I'm thinking about, or talking about rather. It makes me think about, am I really right on this, before I just go in and say just because I said it, I must be right. I know my logo is "You're entitled to my opinion." That's actually I'm being kind of ironic. But the point is that I'm grateful that I have people that care enough about me that my politics and their politics is immaterial. Also, other people that I had some thankful for. Josh Johnson said he's thankful for Pathway Church, and I am too. To me, Pathway and First Baptist both, which I am a member of, have really stepped up into the community. They've opened their spaces up for community events. The city has used both those churches for community events. Alex had his one of his programs last year at First Baptist, and it was everybody just loved it, and they're going to do it again. I'm not quite sure of the time. I'll have to get him on the show. Also, we've had the chamber had a big craft sale at Pathways. So Pathways and First Baptist have really stepped up to the plate and opened themselves up, their space up, to things that are not necessarily church related, so to speak. They're there for the community, not just for themselves. And I appreciate that very much. Andy Kenny Holly, I remember her. This was one of the sweetest kids you'll meet in high school. Great athlete too. Andy Kenny Holly says, I'm thankful that God knew I needed and more importantly could handle twin girls and will still give me the ability to give my attention and love to their big brother, who is an only child. I see your post quite often. Beautiful children, of course. Wonderful woman. She's a coach and English teacher, I believe in Hazel now. And I'm not quite sure. I know she was in Granbury for many years, and she's a former student, like I mentioned, and I can't tell you how gratifying it is to see over and over and over again all these students of mine that I knew back in the day that are just becoming such wonderful adults, parents, and community leaders, and business people, and whatever else. And I'm not surprised by it. I knew Andy was going to be successful, just like Shandy and Daniel and Chris. All three of them are former students of mine. I knew they were going to be successful. I knew Sarah Carlson would be successful. She's here next. She's grateful for the community and for perspective. There was a time not that long ago that I was so frustrated and concerned, but I decided to focus on the amazing things happening and the incredible people around town. And it's amazing what that choice has made in her life. Sarah is a true citizen of the community. That Municipal Matters page is one of the most informative and useful items on Facebook. And that's, sometimes you don't say that about Facebook, but it's very, very handy. If I want to know what's going on at Russell Art Farm, at the library I meant, or with the parks, or when the city council is, Sarah's got it going for us. I really, really suggest strongly, if you're not a member yet, be a member of Municipal Matters page and be nice, because you really will learn a lot about what's going on through her. And I appreciate her very much. She is a sounding board for me about what I am proposing to talk about, particularly on local matters. I say, hey, this is what I'm thinking about, and she will kind of help me refine my thinking. I think that much of her opinion. Same thing with several other people that'll do that for me. When I do a show that I think is going to be potentially, a show that not everybody's going to like or accept, I like to make sure I say it in such a way that I don't come across as hateful, okay, or divisive. So I'll go with them and say, how should I phrase this? It doesn't mean I'm trying to change what I'm saying. What it means is I want to say it in such a way that doesn't bring offense or controversy, or umbrage is a nice word. I like that word. Oh, a friend of mine from BNI, Candy Gow, who does mortgage work. If you want to talk to somebody about mortgages, Candy can help you with that. She's going to be on the show eventually. She and I are BNI friends. I'm thankful for the trials in addition to the blessings I receive. It makes me who I am, and I know that I'm not alone. I believe that too. When you're going through trials, you're not thinking, the scripture says, thank God for all your trials. I'm like, that's going to be a hard one for me to pull off. But it does make you stronger. There are things that happen now that when it happened to me before 15 years ago, I know now I can deal with it. Certain things don't get to me as much as they used to. One of the advantages, I guess, of being 60 is that with all this politics and whatever else, I know that, God willing, there's always going to be tomorrow. There's always the next election. Nothing's ever permanent. And so I could be as upset about it as I want to, as you are. And that's a value of being older. And Candy I'm older than she is, I promise you a good bit, but she has learned that same lesson. Pamela Lee, Pamela Lee, if you don't know her, she's a legend in the coaching community here in Burleson. Volleyball coach, athletic director for several districts. Pam Lee is a wonderful person, very sweethearted, but also strong-minded. I always respected how she handled her coaching business because she didn't take a back seat to any of the boys' sports. I can tell you that. She's thankful for the Burleson Retired School Employees Association, their board and their members. They work to get retired teachers a cost of living raise for the first time in 17 years. Well, I could use it too. Thankful for BARCEA, as it's called, BARCEA, the Burleson Retired School Employees Association. And thank you, Pam, for helping all of us, what you did then and what you're doing now. Beagley's painting, another BNI friend, Christina, is quite the character. And I appreciate what she does for us. She's thankful for faith, family, faith in people to be good, and for strength. Add several of them. Well, I'm going to do one more, and then, but I'm going to say there's several of them that were faith based, shall we say? I'm going to do, but here's another one, Shandy. I'm thankful for the ability to still welcome new people into my life alongside my OG friends. That's original gangster for us hipsters. And we are finally in an age of friendship doesn't feel like competition. Absolutely. I'm too tired. But I appreciate what she does. That 817 page, I appreciate the Re-Inspire board she serves on, things of that nature. Art Brooks, everybody knows Art Brooks, State Farm and all that. He's been around forever and ever. Thankful for a great community of family, friends, customers, and civic community that show grace in my life. It's a beautiful, wonderful world to be a small part of. Yes, it is, Art. I see Art every now and then at church. He's a great guy, and he really brings a lot to this community. But like I said, several had a lot of mention about faith, and thanks to God for prayers answered, prayers received. I had several that were thankful that they had people praying for them. Some of them I really can't share because the confidentiality, shall we say, and they were asking for prayer requests, and or actually they were saying more, just thank you for prayers that would have been received and taken up by friends. And that's the great thing about this community. We have a lot of people that will set time aside to pray for all the various needs that come across this community, and for family and for friends and for health. And maybe if they're going through a financial difficulty, that not only have the organizations to deal with that, but also people that are willing to step up to the plate. For example, here, my sister-in-law, Susan Shahan, she's my wife's younger sister. I'm thankful for a family that loves God and loves me. I'm thankful for God's living word. I'm thankful for the Holy Spirit who comforts and guides me daily. I'm thankful God desires all come to him. I'm thankful he welcomes all. Very good words, Susan. And I'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure. Yeah, it is Thanksgiving. And that was a very good message. Also, this young lady I do not know. This is from the Burleson Residents and Neighbors page, Marlene Preston. And I don't know anything about her other than what I'm about to read to you, but I think it's important. This is what this show is about. This is what this community is about. That she feels like she can relate this to whatever she's talking about. I'm grateful for Christ. The world is hard, and it doesn't help when people seem to a little negative lately about everything. And it's the weather, the economy, the politics. I could see where she's coming from. I'm grateful he gave me another day to start over and accept him. I'm grateful I can smile through pain because I know who heals me. I am grateful and hopeful that when I smile at a stranger, maybe their day might be a little better. The holidays are especially hard for so many people. Amen to that. And we never know what someone is going through. At the end of the day, I'm grateful to practice kindness. Practice kindness and practice what is preached. Thank you, Marlene. That was well said. Absolutely. So, my voice is giving out, so I'm going to have to cut this a little bit shorter than I wanted. But the point is that we live in a community, in a world that, flaws and all, we still have good people in it. We still have people that are selfless. We still have people that work hard. We still have people that will take time out of the day, not just to pray, but to lend a hand. I mentioned all these opportunities for you to donate to various causes. We're talking about Toys for Tots or boxes all over town. Otto has a box. Chris has a box. Michelle has a box. Melissa has a box. Tiffany and Gayla up in the third floor of the Windmill Building has a box. Shandy is doing her own type of giving through 817 page. And you also have like I mentioned, the free braces. You had the Harvest House with Holiday Friends. You had the one with Promises, or trying to help through this tough time. I talked to one of my friends in Sunday school works at Promises, and she had the same story that Jennifer Woods had about Harvest House. The need is growing greatly. They're almost doubled the number of people coming by and needing help. And see, we associate a lot of times people who go to these type of services as low economic status. Maybe they're having problems with drugs and alcohol. That's not always the case. In fact, it's more often than not. More often than not these days, it is people that we could be living right next door to that we don't know that they're in dire need. We don't know that one of them has lost their job, or they had a medical problem that's cost them lots of money, or their car broke down and they can't afford to fix it, or the rent's gone up, or the food prices have gone up. We've talked about this before. And these places and this community always stands together for that. And if you want to be part of that, you know where to go. We have no shortage of people doing good work that need your assistance. Next Step Women's Center, Next Step Women's Center. Sorry, Megan. Next Step Women's Center, one of my very favorite outfits because they help young women navigate the issues of pregnancy, particularly if they're in a situation where they're doing it by themselves, with clothing and training and assistance, and if they can't provide minor medical care, they could send it to other places, and for teaching them how to be a mother or a father, because they encourage that greatly too, to help women understand they're not by themselves in this time where they may be feeling like they're alone, and maybe considering drastic options. And then of course everybody knows Harvest House. I mentioned ASD already. On and on and on. We have a great Chamber of Commerce. Sabrina Daniels does just a superior job of running that outfit. And I'm glad to have her on the show because she's always full of energy and enthusiasm for this community. So I'll end it here. Thank you for listening for another year. Hope, God willing, we'll keep on doing this for another year. It's kind of out of my hands, but God willing, that we'll be doing it longer. Have a good Thanksgiving. Get some rest, get some food. Try not to kill your relatives. And then we get to pick up the Christmas season right after that. Like I said, Gail will be on next Monday, and we'll be going on from there. And so y'all have a great Thanksgiving. You too, Taylor, despite your catty comment about my fighting bears.
That was a good game.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all have a great Thanksgiving. and I will see y'all next week.